Sleeping Minnie is another episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse where they take the premise of a classic fairy story and mould it to fit the show. This one, out of all of the ones I've seen, is probably the least like the fairy story. Other ones were Minnie Red Riding Hood, which was very loosely based on Red Riding Hood, Donald and the Beanstalk a little bit more so, Daisy Bo Peep based on the nursery rhyme. Sleeping Minnie is not really anything like Sleeping Beauty other than Minnie is asleep. But I think it's a good way for children to start to learn about Sleeping Beauty, and it may start conversations and encourage children to explore that as an actual storybook, which is something I always love. This is episode 24, released in 2016, directed by Rob LaDuca. And in this one, Clarabelle, who I do not like, I never have liked Clarabelle, even from her early days in the 30s when she appeared as a very roughly drawn, thin cow creature. She is planting sleeping roses, and if you pick a sleeping rose, you will fall asleep unless the spell is broken. So Donald and Mickey and Goofy take it upon themselves. I don't know why Clarabelle isn't helping. It's worth noting that Clarabelle doesn't actually do anything to help this situation, but the others go off on this quest to find this harp, and they have to use this harp to wake Minnie back up. But there are problems. First of all, the harp is very heavy, and it involves a lot of teamwork and problem solving to help them get this harp to Minnie. And that's once they've actually found it. You have to identify the right road to take to get to the harp. There's one very directly educational moment where Mickey asks the audience if he needs to take the left road or the right road to get to this particular location, giving the viewer a chance to respond. I think it is quite educational in that regard. Obviously, it can teach a child loosely the concept of Sleeping Beauty, but I also do think there are other ways to learn as well. There's a scene where they have to work together and problem solve and be very clever and pick golden apples for Pete. And Mickey asks us if we're clever and we say yes, and then Donald asks himself if he's clever and says yes. And I just think Donald's teaming up with Goofy, this isn't going to work in their favour. But, you know, they give things a go, and that's always admirable. It's good fun. There's nothing wrong with this episode at all. It is quite educational. It's, you know, the narrative flows really well. I still don't understand why Clarabelle was just sitting back and letting everybody do the work when she has actually planted roses that are cursed. Not sure why she thought that was a good idea. But it's still worth watching. I think it's very sweet. The animation style is very good. Usual brilliant voice cast. Allwine as Mickey Mouse, Tony Anselmo as Donald Duck. We also have April Winchell as Clarabelle Cow. Minnie, obviously doesn't appear in this too much because she is asleep. The animation style is lovely. It's quite educational. The narrative is pretty decent. There's nothing wrong with Sleeping Minnie.